Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast, Psyched. Today I'm so excited to present to you my new guests on the show. We have Sophie,
Hi.
we also have Maya,
Hi.
and finally we have Rose.
Hi.
So today we're going to be discussing everything you need to know about moral development and some pretty personal anecdotes, so stay tuned.
What is moral development, guys?
Moral development is actually the process where young children acquire and internalize moral values, principles, and a bunch of beliefs that consequently shape their behavior and a bunch of decision making skills in social context. So basically, it shapes who you become as an adult. Kohlberg, which is a 20th century scientist, actually kind of like split moral development into like three different stages. The first one is a pre-conventional stage that begins between the ages of 0 years old and 9 years old, and it kind of like is divided into two different stages. The first one is punishment and obedience orientation. Basically, that means that it's really closely actually related to egocentric reasoning. The child basically acts in any way possible that is self-interested. So he's really just focused on the advancement of their own pleasure, and they're still attempting to avoid punishment as much as possible. So like basically their goal is not to get caught in whatever they're doing. And I think like one of my personal experiences with that stage is like I used to constantly sneak candy into my room, into my closet, and I don't think I was caught once, but there was like a lot of pressure not to be caught by my parents, and I remember that. What about you guys?
Sophie did it yesterday.
I mean, yeah, I like to sneak candy still.
Are you scared of getting caught or?
Yes. Yes. yeah. Yeah, that my mom is scary to me, but that's another thing for another day. That's something I'm gonna talk about in therapy. But it's fine. Yeah.
Yes.
I think as a kid also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in general, I think we all
Yeah.
have been through that. And whether it was like candy or something different. Like.
Yeah.
Second stage is instrumental relativism orientation. Sorry about that. The key here is instrumental. At this age, the child will begin to consider other people's perspective, but they're still going to do so while prioritizing their own personal interests. So they're really going to try to please people around them, like following the rules of an authority figure, with the objective of like getting rewards or like a favor in exchange. So it's really just like, oh, what's in it for me? Like, oh, if I behave well, are you gonna reward me for that? I just want to be rewarded. That's basically, it still is pretty egocentric, if you ask me.
So
It's
it's almost
this-
based on eccentric motivation.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely.
It's the sticker principle. It's why my friend is a dance teacher and she gives the 5-year-olds, she teaches stickers anytime
Yeah.
they do something good because it gets them to behave more.
Yeah. The second milestone of moral development is actually conventional. Conventional mentality. I'm sorry. Yes, conventional. That's more during early adolescence to childhood because obviously your brain has grown. The third stage is good girl / good boy. Don't think in the sense that
No, but in a sense that. Sorry, guys.
individuals will begin to behave accordingly to the rules and expectations in order to gain approval from their peers. So they're really just going to be following the rules to like blend in and fit in with other people. At this stage, the best reward they can get is social approval. So as a teen, I remember I used to do like weird stuff just like to fit in with other people.
Because it was so long ago.
Absolutely.
Oh my
No,
God,
so old.
ages ago.
just like for example, I used to just drinking at parties. I'm not saying like, oh, they pressured me into it. Like my friends were nice, but just like you're doing stuff that you might not normally do just to fit in, because
Yeah.
that's like the best motivator is like, oh, because I have friends, and that's like something super important.
Did you feel like you were kind of like questioning your morals and like, oh, I know it's illegal, but like I'm doing it anyway?
Yeah, I had like pretty authoritative parents, so I wasn't too like. But I was drinking, and I was like, oh, like I'm not old enough, but like it still is fun, and it wasn't like harmful in any way. So like, I did have like questioning, but at the end I was like, oh, it's okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you do this, but even if I'm driving, I like to have not an alcoholic drink, but something to drink because I feel like it makes it less evident. Like I've brought like the
At parties, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
parties.
absolutely. Same. Yeah. 'Cause
Okay, this is not even a party, but I was like, oh, everybody's gonna drink, but I need to drive, so I'm gonna buy something.
mhm.
That's not even like
You make,
now.
like, a
That's why I
mocktail.
bought this.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, it feels like I'm kind of drinking something alcoholic, but I'm not. And I'm driving and I'm not drinking alcohol.
Turns out you guys are all driving, so no one's drinking. So, like, okay.
Yeah, turns out.
Still under conventional mentality is definitely stage 4, law and order. That's when individuals obviously are going to like, oh, this is the law, so this is all I'm doing. They're gonna adhere to rules and laws so they can maintain social order. In other words, basically everyone needs to be a law-abiding citizen, even without the presence of authority. Honestly, personally, when I think of this stage, I just think of like people snitching. Because they're like, oh, they see something, and they're like, oh my god, like, you're not supposed to do that. I'm gonna go tell my mom. My sister was my biggest op when I was a kid. Like, I swear, she used to snitch on me every time I did something. But she was the oldest. And just to finish my part, there's also finally the post-conventional mentality. Surprisingly enough, not everybody reaches to that stage, even though they become like adults. It's present within some adolescents and adults, but it's like relatively rare, which I found pretty surprising. Again, this is like subdivided into 2 stages. The first is social contract orientation, which is basically when individuals recognize the importance of social agreements or contracts because they benefit everyone. They gain a like societal perspective on things. And they also recognize that if a contract is no longer beneficial between 2 people, we are able to bend the rules. So we kind of like evolve from that law and order perspective, and we're like, oh, if it actually applies properly, I can like bend or break the law, and it's gonna be morally acceptable. Finally, principle conscious. This is like the elite stage, I guess. Individuals are going to base their personal moral principles based in universal ethical principles. So like they're gonna like, oh, personally this is like my moral reasoning because I'm based myself on equality, justice, and human dignity, and it will be these universal principles that are going to be applied to ethical issues. So absolutely, yeah. Do what like I mean, obviously it's kind of an intricate question, but what like stage do you guys think you're at?
Oh my god.
Like, are you? I mean, I think we are at our age.
I mean,
Actually,
I'm still sneaking candy, so I guess not far.
Pre-conventional,
Yay!
absolutely. I think honestly we might, especially considering our age, maybe like would be like post-conventional, like social contract. So like we'd be okay to bend the rules. I mean, I'm speaking, I guess, from like a personal.
I mean,
Perspective.
yeah,
No,
I
that
don't
feels
know.
fair.
And,
But
like,
it's like-
but we all have our license, obviously.
Yeah.
We all drove here.
Yeah.
But, like, in the classes when they're like, yeah, it's socially acceptable to, like, speed in a school zone after this, like, when you know there are no children, so, like, weekends.
Yeah.
So, I live near a school at both of my parents' house, and, like, my mom's, I'm on the street, and on a Saturday, if I'm, like, late to work, I don't go at exactly 30.
Yeah.
I don't go, like, at 100, but I...
No, I
I'm-
get that.
Like, on a Monday morning, I wouldn't go to, like, a higher speed. But
Yeah.
No,
I think Rose, you had something.
Yeah, so it's interesting the stages, but like how does it get there? Like how does it develop throughout the stages?
Mhm.
So babies are actually born naturally empathetic, which is why we see like if you're in a grocery store with your kid and another kid starts crying, your baby might also start crying. However, this isn't always directed properly. Like, when kids get a little bit older than, like, babies, like toddlers, they feel empathy, they want to help, but they don't always know how. An example of this is, like, when I was small, my mom stubbed her toe and she was crying, and so I went to her room and I got her a stuffed animal that she kept on her nightstand, and I brought it to her.
So cute.
Which is, like, it's the
so
correct...
wholesome.
Yeah, it's the correct emotional response, but, she probably just wanted an ice pack, so it's, like... The idea was there, but the execution, not as much.
A for effort.
A for effort. And so things like this happen through like 3 main stages, which is observation, imitation, and reward. So like a kid will see their mom or one of their parents, and it could be either a parent, a teacher, a role model, or even a character in a TV show that a child likes or looks up to. So they'll see them doing something good. And I remember I had a phase when I was a kid where I saw a TV character who didn't kill bugs, he brought them outside. And so I saw that happening, and then I started doing it myself. Like, my mom was like, oh my god, there's a spider. I'm like, wait, don't kill it.
Oh,
like,
that's so cute.
Yeah.
I'd put a cup over it, and I'd bring it outside. And then, like, there was no reward itself. It was more an intrinsic reward. Because, like, oh, like, I saved the bug. Like, I feel good about myself because it didn't die, like, in my house. But, these role models and the people that the children look up to, their morals can depend on their culture and SES. So it can be different all around the world. And an example is, I promise guys, we're not racist, but like an example of like morals that could be different is that, say, a kid who was raised in Canada like has a dog and a cat at home. Like, they love their pets, it's like a member of their family, and then they go on a trip to Asia and they see people eating the dogs and the cats. It might make them feel some kind of way morally, because they're like, wait, why are you eating them? They're a pet, they're a friend. Yeah. But the kids over there, they don't have an issue with it because their role models, their parents also eat eat them, whereas the American kids' parents are Canadian. Their parents don't eat the dogs, they treat them with respect and love, so obviously it's like a big shock.
Yeah. It's also kind of related to like animism in a way, especially with the spider. Like, oh my god, I saved its life. Like, it must be like grateful for me. I remember I used to do that. I used to save worms in the street. I still do.
Yeah.
Am I a terrible person?
I was gonna say, do you guys like not save bugs anymore?
No,
I don't anymore. I'm over it. I kill them.
I do it. Oh my god, I hate worms.
I get my brother to do it.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he's for. Was he supposed to have an actual job? No. He was a boy that was born, and he's younger than me. His entire job is to do exactly what I tell him to. He's 14 now. It doesn't really work, but it used to.
When I was small, I used to like go hang out with my neighbor who's the same age as me, and we would like go in the pool and try to save ants. So ants always want to go in the pool, okay, and we would like save them, like, please don't go in the pool, and like bring them to the surface. It was our favorite game.
Yeah, I used to do that.
My dad found a squirrel in our pool once, like
A squirrel
almost drowned. He picked him up, like did like fucking CPR with his little with his fingers, and it resuscitated him.
Oh my god.
And it was fine.
Yo, saying you saved the squirrel through CPR is crazy.
Crazy. It's crazy.
But then again,
like one finger.
And like, were you small? Like, when it happened, were you younger or like?
God, I was younger. Like, yeah, probably 10 years old.
That's probably an example of like you like saving bugs and animals after like you wanting to help. You like observed your dad.
Yeah. I'm very inspired by my dad.
Yeah. Culture and
relationships.
Yes.
Peers and family.
Oh my god, so
it's a big influence.
Mm-hmm. And another thing too, another factor is the SES, as I mentioned, is that like parents who like single moms, say, who work double jobs, like they might not have time to go out of their way and like help and like show examples. Like, I know when I was a kid and me and my mom would like walk through Montreal, if we'd see someone homeless, like my mom would hand me money and be like, there, like go give them like $5 or something. But if you barely have enough money to buy yourself groceries, you're not able to help. And you're obviously not making your kid selfish on purpose, but your kid won't have the like the reflexes to be like, oh, you need help, like here, let me help you.
Intuitively go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's very interesting. To my research, I found that like a kind of statistic that said like students from the best functioning families have the highest average scores on tests of moral development. So like when your family is, I'm gonna say healthier, but like more
Like
a
the
nuclear
environment
family.
is heading.
Like we learned,
Yeah.
nuclear family is like, two parents,
Mhm.
children, like a normal family,
Yeah,
I
just
guess we would call
nuclear.
it.
Yeah.
Also like education of your family also influences a lot moral development, because when your maybe like your parents are very educated, they're more likely to set a clear goal for their children's upbringing, and that like facilitates moral development for the children.
Yes.
I mean, and a higher degree family also like equals normally like highest income, so it's just easier for children to like have a better environment to learn moral development, and like have more items to learn it in, a better education, which is also an important factor.
And you mentioned education. Actually, I had done some research about schools, and like a lot of parents expect schools to like instill morals into their kids, but it's actually kind of a really unrealistic standard, because there's one teacher to like 30 students,
Oh yeah.
and the teacher doesn't have time to go through every child with every one of their conflicts and be like, okay, so Jeremy stole your granola bar. Okay, this is what should have happened.
Yeah. And they're also like stuck in a classroom, it's like moral development is applied everywhere, but if you only like learn through a classroom, it's not like varied enough,
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, they're both like there are different sides to that, because I agree that like some parents do like put like so too much like importance on school, and like are like, oh, school's gonna teach them things, but also there are some parents that just don't send their children to school, which like
There's like two extremes.
yeah, it was found that like children attending school like showed a higher level of moral development, and not only because of the teacher, but also like they get to like interact with one another, like children, and it just helps a lot like to see another person's point of view and experience different
Empathy.
people. Yeah. So it
Absolutely.
helps a lot. Go to school, kids.
Stay in school.
Stay in school. Yeah. For sure.
And I think too that I found interesting about school is that like often kids with bad moral development tend to like kind of contaminate the other kids, but usually the bad moral development is learned at home. It's not learned at school. So parents have the misconception that like, oh, it comes from school. Not exactly.
No.
It comes from like
It comes from one kid's family.
yeah. Which at the same time, like I think the thing too is parents tend to want to put the blame away from themselves, but if you raised your kid properly, if you instilled good values, good moral development into your children at a young age.
I guess it's like denial, because like you're too proud to like acknowledge the fact that, oh, okay, you kind of messed up on that part. It's like, no, it's their fault. No, girl, it's yours.
Yeah.
Especially in like teenagehood, like I think a good group of friends is like crucial to developing good moral development, because like one like bad seeds can really like cause something
Mess things up.
a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's not their fault.
I have bad moral development. Yay.
What happens when the bad seed wins?
Yeah. Basically, the definition is not really a definition, it's like a counter definition, is when moral development goes wrong, basically, it just makes people not be able to distinguish between right and wrong, which is pretty much the entire point of moral development. So it makes people more self-centered. It's more difficult for them to deal with empathy. They have poor judgment, and that's pretty much it. So now we get to the fun part, which is talking about people. I'm studying psychology for a reason.
Yay!
Gossip. Professional gossip.
So real. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
So we'll start with a 6-year-old. A 6-year-old that came to my job and decided that the candy in the aisle was theirs. They went, I want it, so it's mine. Which shows a kind of... Which ones were that? See? Shouldn't have closed my notes. So it kind of showed poor judgment, but also they were 6. So what 6-year-old has actual judgment? And it's illegal behavior, which, not great, judgment-wise. And it is very self-centered. Because it's self-centered.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I want this, so I'm gonna have it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's kind of like
it's
the
me
first
and not me.
stage.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the first stage of Kohlberg, but without the I'm not gonna get caught. There's
Yeah, it's just
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because
like,
obviously you're getting
yay
caught.
for me.
for their own interest, but they don't have the like fear of mommy's gonna get me.
And on the bright side, their father did stop them. Because that would have been an awkward
As they
conversation
should.
to have with my boss. So actually, a 6-year-old stole right in front of my face, and I didn't stop them because that would have been awkward. Didn't feel like dealing with that. I'm not paid enough for that. Then there's me, and this is good moral development, and I can't believe I decided I would share this on a podcast. Yesterday, I went to my friend's house. Her driveway, the way it's made, it kind of goes over a creek. I did not fall into the creek. Everyone I told this to was like, I thought you fell into the creek. No, I'm not insane. Well, a little. But not really the point. So it goes over a creek, so you really have to stay like on the driveway that's exactly 1 car wide to not fall. And she has a mailbox right on the edge of it.
Oh.
So, yesterday, I turned my wheel all the way, but too early. So it's my mom's car. The front bumper accidentally it unclipped a little and it hit her mailbox. The mailbox is fine.
The car.
The car is fine. I drove it here, except it's probably gonna cost me money to have it like checked. But technically it's fine. And so bad moral development would have been me saying, actually this could have consequences, so I'm just not going to tell anyone and blame it on someone else. But I didn't. I told my friend that I accidentally hit her mailbox because her father saw me. That's not true. I was going to tell her anyway, but her father actually helped me get unstuck because I did not know what way to turn.
You were stuck?
Well, I wasn't stuck, but I was like,
Stuck.
I was like, I don't want to do anything because whatever I do, yeah,
mess it up further.
yeah, I'm like, if I go that way, am I going to just completely rip off my bumper? If I go the other way, am I just gonna like knock? So I was like, what do I do? So he kind of said, so you're gonna turn this way, then this way, and like I got out. But I told everyone at what I did. I actually told way more people than I should have. Yay! What other moral development stories do I have?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I think it was like learned like your parents did something that could have given them consequences and they admitted to it anyways. So you're like, oh yeah, like it's okay, like I'll be okay.
Probably. I guess not exactly in that context, but I have another story about me in a car.
Oh my god.
I've only hit 2 things.
Yeah.
Girl, I hit a building,
Ever.
don't worry about it.
Oh, damn.
The first time I hit something, it wasn't actually my fault because I had just left La SAQ. It was completely my fault,
Oh my
but I
God.
had just left La SAQ like for the first time, like,
Unlucky.
and I went home and my dad was like, "Oh, now you can park." I'm like, "I drove for the first time ever, and you're gonna make me park? That's a decision. It's a bad one, but that's fine." I guess actually that would be a good example. My stepmom's car was in the driveway, and I scratched her car with my dad's car, but it was the first time I drove, so I blamed it on my dad. But, well, not exactly. I said I hit it, but I was like, yeah, and my dad told her exactly what happened, and she was like, oh, it's fine. So that was a good example. He, like, owned up to the fact that he let me, knowing full well that something could happen, like, park my car next to my car. I own a car now. His car, like, right next to hers.
So do we think children are more, like, moral than adults? Because most of the time, they are.
Depending on what it is, I feel like
Yeah.
adults would tend to lie. They would tend to lie more because they don't want to face the consequences. But the children, sometimes they just don't understand, like the
Yeah.
envergure.
Like
The,
magnitude
gravity.
of the
Magnitude,
Magnitude.
yes, the magnitude of the
Yay.
situation. Like, but sometimes I don't know about you guys, but I know that I used to get in trouble, and I used to try to lie about it.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't lied about it, my parents would have been okay with it. But I got in trouble for
Oh,
lying
yeah.
about it, and that was like the worst part of the whole story. Was that like I hid the fact that I did something, and they were like, "Well, we're not mad at you, but we're mad at you because you lied, not because you did something like."
Yeah.
Your action is excusable, but trying to like cover it up is like that's what's morally wrong. So I really learned like big lessons that way.
My brother tried to cover up when he took a fire extinguisher and just like went
Oh.
outside and just like sprayed it outside
so
for
adorable.
fun because he was in his hyperfixation like firefighter. So yeah, so
I love
yeah,
that.
and he tried to lie, but I mean.
There's evidence.
There was no, like, I didn't say it because what if there was a fire? Like, the fire extinguisher is, okay, it's
Gone.
like,
It's empty.
Yeah,
It's empty.
that's kind of
and
bad.
bam, there's a fire. Oh,
Well, that
yay!
sucks.
Let it burn.
Well,
Let it
Oopsie.
burn.
let it burn.
Alright guys, thank you so much for listening to this. We hope you enjoyed it and learned so much more about psychology. Don't forget to sign up on our Patreon and to subscribe to our Spotify and turn on the notifications because we have so much more coming for you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.